Hello, this is Pauline Jennings. Welcome to Musician Talk. Interviews with people you know, people you've heard, and people you've heard about. My candid, casual, and lively conversations with local area musicians about how music matters in their lives, our community, and beyond. So glad to have you with me. Sam Ryden picked up the guitar at 8 years old and never looked back. I met him when he asked Steve, my husband, to play drums for his CD release party at Imminent Brewing. And they came over to our house and rehearsed, and I could not believe it. I heard this kid, he was 16 or 17 at the time, pick up the guitar and play it wonderfully. And his voice, oh, his voice, it's amazing. Sam is a very cheerful person. Whenever I've been around him, it's just a joy. He's a joy. And he certainly lights up when he talks about music. That is for sure. He's got an album called Sometimes. He describes it as an album distinctively unbound by traditional stylistic categories. Some of the songs on the album are full band tunes with growling blues guitar and old school Hammond organ riffs, while others are super clean acoustic guitar work underneath Sam's pristine vocals. I was thrilled to get a chance to talk with Sam via Zoom while he's home from college. So sit back, enjoy, and let's talk to Sam. Welcome, Sam Ryden, to Musician Talk.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What I want to ask first is how you are doing and how you and your loved ones are doing in this time of isolation.
Yeah, we're doing really well. We just got a new little puppy. Her name's Maisie. Yeah, she's 4 months old. So we've been playing with her and doing some stuff around the yard, doing a lot of music together. Me and my dad have been continuing to do church services at Emmaus on a live stream now. So every Sunday we're able to get together with the band and play. So that's been really fun too.
That's great.
Yeah.
And your dad works at Emmaus. He's the music director?
Yep, Rob Ryden.
Oh, I'm glad to know that you and your family are healthy and that you're staying sane during this time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you doing good too?
Steve and I are doing great. Same thing. Lots of projects, lots of music. So I want to start kind of back in the beginning. If you can think back to when you first started to play, what instrument you started to play, how you felt when you started lessons.
There's a musician in town, Derek Hars, who gave me my first few guitar lessons, I think over the course of a year. And I just fell in love with it immediately. It was just something that it started to make sense really early on. Nice. And it felt like something that I was kind of, meant to do. I just loved how the guitar fit in my hand. I loved strumming the chords and like just fiddling around with the sounds that I could make with it. So that love has kind of grown into a deeper bond, I'd say, throughout the years. So
that's great. So you never felt like you had to practice. It was you wanted to play.
I would definitely say
that's
it like
very
that.
Cool.
And there have been auditions and things like that where, I have to sit down and plug out a song and learn it. But once I get it figured out, it's natural.
Yeah, it's so cool when that happens. From the beginning, you just feel like it's right. That was how it was when I was singing. I can't remember not ever singing. It fit. That's wonderful. Yep. So did you take lessons for a long time?
I did. I've kind of taken lessons intermittently throughout the years, kind of at various times. So I've had a few different teachers. For the most part, I kind of I'm figuring stuff out on my own now. And with going to school, I've started taking more of a theory approach to what I'm doing, how I'm playing, and I think that has kind of expanded things a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, I think it'll expand it greatly.
Exponentially.
Yes, exactly. So the importance of music in your life, and obviously it sounds like anyway that it was important immediately. But I'm wondering what music has done in your life. What are some of the things it's given you?
Without music, my life would be completely and totally different. I feel like in almost every way. It influences how I think, how I approach the world. A huge part of it is how I build relationships. And like I've made so many friendships playing music, and I've strengthened so many relationships through music. Specifically with like me and my dad, like us playing together has brought us together in a really unique special way that I think only music can do. Music has, I mean, since the beginning of it, has been used as an outlet for emotion, and it's also been used as a platform to talk about various issues that we face
Yes.
as human beings, and various issues that we face in the world. I think of like guys like Bob Dylan and
Yep.
their ability to tell stories and talk about really serious issues. Listening to that has challenged some of my beliefs, and listening to like thoughtful musicians and what they have to say has really kind of opened up my mind a little bit more, I'd say.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
opening your mind, you consider a good thing.
definitely. Yeah,
I do too.
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, Bob Dylan has a lot to say, and the way he says it connects with the heart immediately through the music,
Right.
right?
Yep. Yep.
And it affects your head completely too. I guess there's an easier path to the head because it goes through the heart
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, I think music immediately hits the heart. I think that's very really true. And then, you can apply logic to it with theory and in terms of crafting the right amount of syllables or finding the right word. But I think it connects with the heart first and foremost. I think that's a really special thing about it. So,
Yep. And then the next thing you said that it has influenced your relationship with friends, and you've met a lot of friends through music,
yeah.
and also your relationship with your father. So let's start with friends. How I know that when I'm in a group, you have to have a certain level of trust. It's
Yes.
like acting too for me.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain
Sure.
level of trust, and that immediate need for that creates a different bond that you'd have just hanging out. So
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah. I think even in terms of even in listening, like finding a good group of friends that you can listen to music with too. Like
hmm
playing is a whole different thing in and of itself, but even listening, the act of listening and consciously listening and
yep,
talking about what you hear, I think that has really actually benefited a lot of my friendships too. Further, playing with people, it creates that special bond that you were talking about, the level of trust. And I think one of my favorite things about playing, and I get this when I play with like Craig and Steve and Mike and my dad, when we get to band together and play, we're just like locked in, and like we can look at each other's eyes and we know where we're going. And if we don't know where we're going, then we'll figure we find a way to get the train
exactly.
back on the track. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes when you lose yourself, you come up with even better things than you would have if you would have just played the way that you rehearsed it.
Yeah,
Particularly
for
with
sure.
the level of musician that Craig and Steve and your dad and Mike are. So it's interesting that you brought up listening with friends,
Hmm.
perhaps some friends that aren't musicians,
Yep.
because I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what you're. This is pretty philosophical, but
Okay.
nonetheless, what do you feel for the listener and our community at large, what music brings to them?
I think I think kind of going back to my thoughts on connectedness. I think music
Okay.
has it's like a really, yeah, I think it's a in terms of a community, I think music can really bring people together. You think of a place like Northfield, our community is tied together by the arts, by theater, by music, and it's a very I think music can funnel into a very supportive atmosphere. Northfield musicians that I can think of, it's just like a big community of people who care about each other and who want to
Mm-hmm.
support and
Mm-hmm.
hear what each other has to say. I think in terms of community, that's kind of the biggest thing is
Sure.
the support.
The
Yeah.
support and the connectedness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot of people are yearning for that right now.
Yeah.
I had asked you to pick out a couple songs that were important to you, and either
Yes.
uh, we'll play a recording of it, or if you want to play live. Uh,
I'm I'm totally down to do it live right here.
oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Do a little intro for your first song and why you picked it. Why it's
Yeah.
important
So
to you.
yeah, this the first song I'm going to do is it's called Night Shift. I wrote this one this summer. So my friend got this shift. It's 9 p.m., 10 p.m. to 4 in the morning. And so what I was thinking of when I wrote this was types of thoughts that you have at 4 in the morning, driving home
Mm-hmm.
on the dark highway by yourself. You're tired, you want to get to sleep, but also like it's this time where you can really ponder like big philosophical ideas. And so I kind
Sure.
of wanted to put that into a song, and with my buddy of mine, that's kind of what I did with Night Shift. So I got some inspiration from John Prine, and
All
so
right,
that's
let's
kind of
hear
where
it.
yeah, all right.
All right.
There's a beauty in silence when the world has gone to sleep, and it feels like you're the only one who's singing. You can watch a falling star tumble into the purple deep, soak up the streak of light that it is leaving. I'm a working on the night shift. Honey, I ain't been home yet. Sweet, reckless abandon. My midnight apathy. And my greatest fear is living in a way that I regret. I'm on the night shift. I'm on the night shift. There's been some long nights. I do too much thinking, and I rack my brain just trying to map it out. Long ago lovers, the human condition. Well, I sure as hell ain't trying to figure it out now. I'm a working on the night shift. Honey, I ain't been home yet. Sweet, reckless abandon. My midnight apathy. And my greatest fear is living in a way that I regret. I'm on the night shift. I'm on the night shift. I just wanna have a place to go, hoping I don't ever lose control. Scratching off the writing on the wall, praying I can still stand up at all. You can hear the rumble of the car engine as you think the road that always takes you home. You can say good morning to the one you've been missing. Thank God that you don't have to be alone. I'm working on the night shift. Honey, I ain't been home yet. Sweet, reckless abandon. My midnight apathy. And my greatest fear is living in a way that I regret. I'm on the night shift. I'm on the night shift. I'm on the night shift. I'm on the night shift.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
What a
Yeah.
treat. What a treat.
Yeah.
I wrote down some lyrics here that I want to ask you about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that sometimes when, particularly with the original songs, when you present them to the audience, sometimes the audience says, "Okay, these are probably personal. I wonder what he means by that." And
For
now the
sure.
audience has an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
So, sweet, reckless abandon. I love that phrase.
Yeah.
It's a great phrase in a song.
When I think of sweet, reckless abandon, I kind of think of just letting everything fall to the floor and just being free almost. I think, like, whether that be spiritually, emotionally, even physically, I think the idea of sweet, reckless abandon is being able to express myself and examine things that I think about in a way that without bias, I guess.
Oh, cool. The juxtaposition between sweet and reckless.
Yeah.
is beautiful, right? So
Yeah.
we
Right.
think of reckless as not necessarily has good connotation, but but you put the sweet on it, and it's like you can be reckless in a good way,
Yeah.
right? And
Absolutely.
and that's that freedom you're talking about.
Right. And it's being reckless in a way that's not destructive. I'd say, and I think it's being
Exactly.
reckless. Yeah, being reckless in a way that helps you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful, Sam. So the other one I got is the greatest fear is living a way I regret. This is another thing that connects us with songs is that people can relate to that.
Right.
Absolutely. I think all
Right.
of us can. What do
Yeah.
you mean with that?
I think when I that is a very personal line. That's super personal. That's
Hmm.
pretty personal to me. I think that that came from a place of just wanting to be the best that I can be and
Nice.
wanting to think as clear as I can think. And a big thing that I've been actually thinking about recently is just being present in the moment and being
Uh,
present and acknowledging kind of the what we have at our fingertips. Like
hmm
we have life itself. We
hmm
have we have nature, we have relationships and connections, and it's just at one day die and be happy with how I viewed the world and what I did.
that's great, Sam. I love that. I have a couple more questions, and then I want another song.
Yeah.
You just went to college, your first year college, correct?
Yep. First year. First year.
And so I'm wondering, do you play down there? Do you play? Where do you go to college?
Yeah, I go to University of Memphis.
Oh, that's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
right. So, are you playing music down there?
I am. Yeah, and I was kind of doing more second semester when everything blew up. I was in three different ensembles down there. I was actually in a recording ensemble where we wrote our own songs. Final thing was to go into the studio that we have on campus and record them and get some like solid demos of them. And so that was actually probably one of my favorite experiences. Yeah, being able to work with other musicians is not co-writing is not something that I've done too much of up until recently. So
It opens a whole new world now. You got these other brains to tap.
yeah, we just clicked right away. And it doesn't always happen like that,
No,
but it's so exciting when that type of thing happens.
it
So
is. How did entering college and the college scene, being a musician, help you, hurt you? How did it affect your first time on a college campus?
I think I think it helped me in the way that I had a community from day one, and I
Nice.
made friends who were musicians from day one because I believe the college itself, University of Memphis, is a pretty big campus. I think they have over 10,000 undergrads, so it's a lot of people.
Hmm.
And the music school is 400 kids, so
Wow.
right away you just dialed into like a really tight knit
Yep.
community. That made the transition so much easier, I think, than it might have otherwise been.
So I want you to tell us about the second song that you chose.
This song is called "Be Surprised." This was the first song I wrote
Oh,
uh, when I got to college.
okay. Got it.
So this is like the first, maybe the second week I wrote this. I locked myself in a practice room. It was before the school year had started, and I just locked myself in and wrote this, throughout the span of the day. And I'd say that a big part of the song is kind of about feelings of being alone, and I was going through a little bit of that. Um,
Hmm.
Even though, like I was saying before, I was kind of dialed into some friends right away, I still had the thoughts of loneliness and a
You're
little bit,
homesick.
yeah, homesick
Yeah.
and anxious and stuff like that. So that's kind of where the song started and came from. You know it won't do no good to only trust yourself, but you don't want to put your fate in the hands of someone else. It's so easy to fall apart, and maybe you'll never find the right one, but you might be surprised. You can't live your whole life on the run. You spend all of your days wasting away, afraid to go outside, afraid to show your face. It's so easy to stay in the dark, and maybe you'll never find the right one, but you might be surprised. You can't live your whole life on the run. Yeah, you might change your mind. Oh, yeah, maybe you'll never find the right one, but you might be surprised. You can't live your whole life on the run. You might change your mind. You might be surprised.
That was really beautiful. I love it. And I really would like to just leave it there because it was so beautiful and that sentiment was so beautiful. So thank you so much, Sam, for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Pauline.
So, what a great conversation with Sam Ryden. How lucky was I to get an interview with him? What a sweet man. If you liked his music, by the way, which I'm sure you did, they are on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, etc. You can check out his Facebook page, Sam Ryden Music. And one more way is through Instagram at Sam Ryden Music. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you next week. Thank you to Ziggy's for sponsoring Musician Talk. I go there not only to fill up my car with gas, but also to get my car fixed by Andrew, who is completely trustworthy. And I don't think there's higher praise for a mechanic than that. So thanks for keeping my car in good working order, keeping me safe. And thank you to Ziggy's for sponsoring Musician Talk. Really appreciate it. And have a great evening, folks.